How do we optimize our PPC?
Okay, so optimizing PPC is very important because obviously I told you guys that you need to extract all of those keywords that we're finding in the search term reports. But if we just launch all these campaigns and not optimize the PPC, you're gonna spend insane amounts of money, and just bleed you dry. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna download the bulk sheets. Now you're going to go into the campaign managers on the left side, click on bulk operations, and you're going to download the bulk sheets or download that sheet for whenever the last time you've done it. So if you've never done it, just download the last 30 days. If you just launched, download however period since you launched, and if you just optimized it, then you're going to download since the last time you optimized it. Generally, I wait 7 days before touching that period. So if today is January 14th, I will optimize from January 1st to January 7th, because January 7th to January 14th, it's still under attribution. So the data in there might not be accurate. So give it 7 days before optimizing the stuff. I'll download the bulk sheets, I'll highlight everything, and I'll click sort and filter. And then in column B, where it says record type, I'm gonna click on that and I'm gonna choose keywords and product targets. This means show me only the keywords and ASINs I'm bidding on. And then I'll highlight everything, I'll click sort, and I'll sort by ACOS from largest to smallest. What this will do is it'll show me which keywords have the highest ACOS and which ones have the lowest. And then anything over my desired break-even ACOS, and we'll touch on break-even ACOS in a second, but let's assume that anything over 50% ACOS you consider is not profitable. You can easily calculate that by looking at what your profit margin is before advertising. And generally, if your profit margin is $10 and your product sells for $20, that's 50%. Anything that it's over 50% ACOS is spending more money than profit that you can afford. Let's say it's 50%. Anything over 50%, you want to lower the bids by a little bit. I usually go 5 cents. I don't do a certain percentage or anything like that because that's not how Amazon works, where if you're here and you want to be here and you calculate this distance and you just create a formula and say, okay, my bid is now $3, it needs to be 45% less to get to this point. It's not going to work like that. What I use is iteration. Iteration is pretty much when you go into the shower, you turn the hot water on, you put your hand in there, it's too hot, you turn it a little bit colder, you put your hand, it's a little bit too hot still, you turn it a little bit lower. And that's what I do with my bids. If it's high, I lower the bid by 5 cents and then 5 cents and then 5 cents and then slowly inch my way to that sweet spot. And again, remember, the sweet spot is always moving because it's human behavior. It's not like it's set in stone. So, people this week and people next week is completely different. So I'm just very slowly chasing that sweet spot and I'm lowering, increasing, and I'm looking at the results. And sometimes you can lower by 15 cents and your ACOS can drop from let's say 70% ACOS to 25% ACOS, and that could be simply because you went from the middle of page 2 to the middle of page 1 to the top of page 2, and maybe the people on page 1, they didn't really care that much and they were just clicking on anything.
How often do you change this bids?
The bids every week. So it definitely depends on how much you're spending. So for me, if you're spending anything over let's say $3,000 a month in PPC, then I would go every 7 days. If you're between 1 and 3,000, I would do every 14 days. If you're between 0 and 1,000, I would just give it a month. Give it a month and let things kind of like the data collect. If you don't have enough data, you can't really make decisions. And so that's what I do. I'd lower the bids slowly, and then anything that's profitable, so maybe I would say 30% ACOS to 1% ACOS, I would increase the bid by 3 cents to give it a little bit more visibility. If it's working, let's see how much more we can push it. Now, anything that's getting clicks and no sales, I will also lower the bids. So what I'll do is, if it over the last 7 days, if it's spent more than $10 and not generated me a sale, then I will lower the bids by, again, 5 cents, and then I'll go and go to the bottom and I'll sort by impressions. Anything that has no sales, I'll sort by impressions from largest to smallest. Anything less than 300 impressions, I'll increase the bid by 10 cents because I'm like, okay, people are not seeing it enough, maybe the bid is too low or something, so I'll increase the bid just to help it get a little bit more visibility. That's pretty much everything I do to optimize my bids every week.
This is very helpful. Thank you.
Awesome.